What if the richest man on earth wasn't chasing wealth, but escape? What if he built an empire not to own the world, but to leave it? This is not just a story about money. It's about a kid raised by a Cuban immigrant who turned his garage into a global machine and then aimed for the stars. This is the story of Jeff Bezos and how relentless vision, painful choices, and one quiet obsession changed the course of humanity. And maybe it can change yours too. Welcome to Day 1. Childhood and Family Influence. Big minds are forged in silence, but they always seek a challenge. The beginning. Jeffrey Preston Jorgensen was born in 1964 in Albuquerque, New Mexico. His mother, Jackie, was just 17 years old, still in high school. His biological father, Ted Jorgensen, was a circus performer and unicyclist. Their marriage lasted barely a year. By the age of 4, Jeff no longer remembered his biological father's face, a hidden truth few know. In 2013, a journalist found Ted Jorgensen running a bicycle shop in Arizona. Ted had no idea his son had become one of the wealthiest and most powerful men on earth. When told, he broke down in tears. "I'm proud of him. I just wish I'd known." Ted died in 2015, never having reunited with Jeff. Enter Miguel Bezos, the true father figure. Jackie later married Miguel Mike Bezos, a Cuban immigrant who had come to the U.S. alone at 15. Mike adopted Jeff and gave him his last name. Miguel was not a man of privilege. He learned English from scratch, worked hard, and eventually became an engineer at Exxon. He became Jeff's role model for quiet strength, discipline, and perseverance. It was Miguel who gave young Jeff his first tools, who encouraged him to take things apart, to learn, to build. A garage lab, not a bedroom. Jeff didn't just play as a child, he experimented. He built alarms to keep his siblings out of his room. He once tried to disassemble his crib as a toddler because he wanted a real bed. Summers with his grandfather on a ranch in Texas taught him hands-on problem solving, fixing windmills, castrating bulls, welding broken parts, and learning how to think like an inventor. My grandfather never panicked. He would take things apart, think, and fix. That taught me every complex problem can be broken down. Jeff Bezos, a mind, already in orbit. In high school, Bezos told classmates he wanted to build space colonies. He was obsessed with the idea of expanding humanity beyond Earth. His classmates wrote in the yearbook, "Our future space entrepreneur." That was in 1982. Lesson: your past doesn't define your potential, but the way you respond to your origins, that's where greatness begins. Jeff Bezos didn't grow up in a palace. He grew up in a garage surrounded by tools, grit, and quiet examples of strength. And he chose to turn that silence into power. Education and early ambitions. Dreams may evolve, but curiosity must only grow. A scholar and a builder. From an early age, Jeff was fascinated with systems, math, science, computers. But beyond academics, he had a strong leadership instinct. In high school, he founded a summer program for younger students called the Dream Institute, where he taught kids to think big, to imagine life beyond Earth, to see the future not just as a destination, but as something they could shape. He wasn't just a smart teenager. He was a visionary in the making. A rare prophecy fulfilled. In 1982, his high school yearbook predicted, Jeff wants to build space hotels, amusement parks, and colonies for 2 to 3 million people who would be in orbit. Who says kids' dreams don't matter? The Princeton pivot Jeff enrolled at Princeton University, originally intending to become a theoretical physicist. He studied under Nobel laureates, but he quickly realized something profound. I realized I wasn't going to be the best in the world at physics, but I could be good, even great, at building things that scale. So he pivoted to computer science and electrical engineering, a decision that would quietly plant the seeds of Amazon. First jobs, learning how the system works. After Princeton, Bezos took a route many founders don't. He went into finance, not to get rich, but to understand how big systems operate. Feitel, building international trade networks, bankers' trust, designing complex financial software. D.E. Shaw & Co. seeded one of Wall Street's smartest hedge funds, where he became a youngest ever VP and met his future wife, Mackenzie. These years were his silent education, a crash course in strategy, modeling, risk, and scale. What he gained, that most miss. While many techies were tinkering in garages, Jeff was studying capital flows, behavioral economics, market inefficiencies, and building the mental framework for a world-changing enterprise. He wasn't coding a website, he was engineering a future. Lesson: you don't have to be the best at everything, but you must find the place where your gifts can serve something greater. Bezos realized he wasn't meant to calculate black holes. He was meant to build systems of trust, technology, and scale for Earth, and eventually beyond. The great risk, leaving everything for an idea. The biggest regret would be never trying. A golden cage. By 1994, Jeff Bezos was living the dream. On paper. Vice president at D.E. Shaw, one of the most elite hedge funds on Wall Street. Making a six-figure salary. On track for a safe, wealthy, high-status life. And then the idea hit him. While browsing internet data trends, he noticed something extraordinary. Internet usage was growing at 2,300% per year. That wasn't a trend. That was a revolution. The seed of Amazon. What if? There was a store online, a place that sold books, all the books, every title ever published. Why books? Huge variety, low inventory cost, high demand, emotional value. A test case for something much bigger. The famous conversation. Jeff took his idea to his boss, David E. Shaw. Shaw listened, then replied, "This sounds like a good idea, but it's a better idea for someone who doesn't already have a great job." It was polite code for don't risk it. But Bezos had already built his inner compass. Regret minimization framework. To make the decision, Bezos imagined himself at age 80. When I'm 80, I won't regret leaving Wall Street and failing. But I would regret never having tried. That regret would haunt me. This wasn't impulsiveness, it was clarity. The road trip that changed the world. Jeff told Mackenzie, his wife, he wanted to quit his job and start a bookstore. She said, "Go for it." So they packed up their car, drove across the country to Seattle, and somewhere along that road, Jeff wrote the first business plan for Amazon in the back seat. Not in an office, not with a team. Just one man, one car, one idea. Birthplace. A garage. In Seattle, they rented a house. The company was launched in the garage. The desks, made from doors laid across sawhorses, because they were cheap. Those door desks are now legendary in Amazon's culture. And the name? Jeff wanted something starting with A that felt vast. He chose Amazon, the largest river in the world, because he didn't just want a bookstore, he wanted the biggest store on Earth. Lesson: if you can't stop thinking about it, don't let comfort kill it. Give it life. Jeff Bezos didn't leap blindly. He calculated the risk coin and chose the future over the familiar. He didn't know how it would work. He only knew he had to try. The chaos and faith of Amazon's early days. It was madness, but every order was proof we were right. July 1995, launch Amazon.com goes live. No fanfare. Just a humble interface, a back-end duct taped together by raw will and caffeine. The first book ever sold? Fluid Concepts and Creative Analogies. A book about artificial intelligence. Fitting. And when the first customer clicked buy, Bezos celebrated like it was a rocket launch. From chaos to orders, every single order triggered a bell sound in the office. At first, it was thrilling. Then, the bell wouldn't stop ringing. Jeff and his tiny team packed every order by hand. They crawled on the floor, taped boxes, printed labels, made midnight runs to the post office. No weekends, no sleep, no guaranteed future. The servers crashed. When traffic spiked, servers exploded under the pressure. Sometimes customers couldn't check out. Other times orders vanished. But Bezos? He never panicked. He saw every glitch as proof of scale. We're growing faster than we can handle. That's a good problem. Let's solve it. No profit for years, and that was the plan. Amazon bled money. Investors doubted. Critics mocked. It's just an online bookstore. They'll never compete with Walmart. But Bezos had no interest in short-term wins. He told early shareholders, "We are not in a race for quarterly earnings. We are building something that will outlive us all." A fun fact that defines his character. In 1996, Amazon was offered a chance to run banner ads from other companies. Easy money. Bezos refused. This is our customer space, not for anyone else to interrupt. This was the beginning of Amazon's obsession with customer experience, a principle that shaped every future decision. Quiet innovations that changed everything? During these early years, Amazon quietly rolled out features that today define online shopping. Customer reviews, one-click ordering. Customers who bought this also bought. Personalized recommendations. All while still figuring out how to keep the lights on. Everyone thought it would fail. Analysts called it a dot-com bubble waiting to pop. People laughed at the idea of buying things online. But Bezos, he wasn't trying to win an argument. He was building a habit that would change the world. Lesson: you don't need perfect conditions to start. You need belief strong enough to survive the imperfect ones. Amazon wasn't magical at first. It was messy, painful, clumsy. But it was real. And it had one thing no competitor did: a founder who believed more in the customer than in the critics. The vision expands from books to the universe. We were never just a bookstore. We were a mission in disguise. Books were just the beginning. Bezos never intended Amazon to remain a bookstore. From the start, his vision was the everything store. If we can sell books, we can sell anything. So Amazon grew, not by accident, but by design. What set Bezos apart? While competitors focused on sales and ads, Bezos focused on infrastructure, logistics, customer data, scalability. He wasn't building a website, he was building a digital backbone for the future of commerce. Relentless innovation. Amazon quietly became the first company to use real-time user behavior to recommend products. The pioneer of one-click buying so frictionless, it became patented. A platform where user reviews built trust instead of marketing. Each move wasn't tactical, it was philosophical. Make it so easy, so intuitive, so trusted, that it becomes invisible. Logistics as a superpower Bezos bet, billions on warehouses, robotics, delivery networks, and AI, while others laughed. They said Amazon was wasting money. Now Amazon can deliver a package faster than most people can finish a coffee. The real product wasn't the item, it was the experience. Prime, the game changer. In 2005, Amazon launched Prime, a subscription service with free 2-day shipping. Critics scoffed, but Bezos knew people don't want to wait. Speed is trust. Prime became the gateway to a new ecosystem. Music, video, groceries, cloud computing, a universe with its own gravity. AWS and the Silent Empire. Here's what few knew. In 2006, Amazon quietly launched Amazon Web Services, AWS, a cloud infrastructure project. Today, AWS powers Netflix, NASA, the US government, even competitors. It makes more profit than all of Amazon's retail business combined. Culture of Day One Bezos introduced a principle called Day One. It means stay hungry, stay bold, stay customer obsessed, never act like you've arrived. Day two is stasis, followed by irrelevance, followed by excruciating, painful decline, followed by death. Bezos' lesson: don't fall in love with your product, fall in love with your customer. Amazon didn't grow because it sold things. It grew because it listened better than anyone and never stopped optimizing. Bezos wasn't chasing size, he was chasing inevitability. Criticism, challenges, and the price of success. If you build something world-changing, the world will come for you. Inside the culture of Amazon, Amazon's internal culture became legendary and feared, driven, demanding, unforgiving. Employees described it as brilliant but brutal. Work weeks of 70-plus hours. Managers encouraged to rank and cut bottom performers. Emails sent at midnight, with replies expected by morning. A former exec said, "You either rise like a rocket or burn out like a match." Warehouses under fire. As Amazon's delivery empire grew, so did the criticism. Workers in fulfillment centers reported constant surveillance, limited breaks, and punishing quotas. Some said they had to pee in bottles to meet targets. During COVID, Amazon faced backlash for worker safety concerns. Bezos stayed largely silent and what pressure mounted. In 2021, after stepping down as CEO, he acknowledged, "We need to do a better job for our employees." Antitrust and market power governments and competitors accused Amazon of using third-party seller data to create copycat products, squeezing out small businesses, dodging taxes while expanding relentlessly. Amazon was no longer seen as a scrappy startup. It was a machine with too much control. Bezos was summoned before Congress. He remained poised, but the scrutiny was now global. Personal fallout. The divorce. In 2019, Jeff and Mackenzie Bezos divorced after 25 years of marriage. It was amicable but very public. Mackenzie received $38 billion, the biggest divorce settlement in history. Bezos was later linked to journalist Lauren Sanchez. Private texts were leaked. The National Enquirer published a scandalous exposé. Bezos responded with a bold public letter. "Rather than capitulate to extortion and blackmail, I've decided to publish exactly what they threatened me with." It wasn't just about reputation, it was a fight for his own freedom. The moral dilemma critics asked, why is one man worth $200 billion while some of his workers rely on food stamps? Why does Amazon pay little to no federal income tax? Is it ethical to fly to space while Earth suffers? To some, Bezos was a visionary. To others, a symbol of capitalism gone too far. Lesson: greatness is heavy, and the higher you rise, the more it shows. Jeff Bezos built one of the most admired and most criticized companies on Earth. He walked the line between genius and ruthlessness, between ambition and consequence, and he paid the price in stress, relationships, and reputation. Today, Blue Origin, legacy, and the future of humanity. Earth is the best planet. We have to protect it by leaving it. A childhood dream reignited. While Amazon consumed most of his adult life, Jeff Bezos never forgot the dream he had as a teenager: space colonization. He wasn't kidding. In 2000, and while Amazon was still struggling, Bezos quietly founded a private aerospace company, Blue Origin. Motto: gradatim ferociter. Step by step, ferociously. Why space? To Bezos, this wasn't about ego. It was about species survival. We have to move heavy industry off Earth. We must preserve Earth as our home, our garden. He believes Earth has limited resources, and the only solution is expansion. Projects in motion: New Shepard, a reusable suborbital rocket for space tourism; New Glenn, an orbital class rocket; Blue Moon, a lunar lander project; Orbital Reef, a proposed commercial space station. Bezos doesn't want to go to Mars. He wants to build self-sustaining space habitats near Earth, like giant rotating cities in orbit. His personal spaceflight. In July 2021, Bezos flew to space aboard New Shepard alongside his brother Mark. It lasted 11 minutes, but for Jeff, it was a full-circle moment. A line drawn between boyhood dreams and realized mission. It was the best day of my life. Stepping down from Amazon. In 2021, Jeff stepped down as CEO of Amazon. He didn't leave to retire, he left to focus on impact. His new missions: Blue Origin, space; Bezos Earth Fund, climate; Altos Labs, longevity; The Washington Post, media. He's no longer building companies, he's engineering civilization, from storefront to stars. Think about it. He started by selling books. He ended up building a platform that powers much of the internet, AWS. He moved from delivering boxes to delivering people into space, all with one idea: we are meant to go further. Final lesson: don't just ask what's profitable. Ask what will matter 1,000 years from now. Jeff Bezos reminds us we're not just building for ourselves, we're laying tracks for the future of the human race. Takeaway for you, the viewer: you may not build rockets, but you can live with boldness. You can make decisions your 80-year-old self will thank you for. You can think bigger, move faster, serve deeply, and still remain true to your childhood fire. It's still day one, not just for Jeff, but for you, just for Evo.